Whether you're thinking of divorcing your narcissistic spouse, right in the middle of it, or have finalized your divorce, the tactics are the same. If this sounds like you need to know about Christine Hammond's new masterclass series, How to Survive a Divorce with a Narcissist. In this 4-hour video series, Christine Hammond introduces the toxic tactics that narcissists use to abuse, humiliate, and manipulate you, and teaches you exactly how to recognize these tactics and navigate through them with mastery and confidence. How to Survive a Divorce with a Narcissist is a deep dive, a masterclass that'll show you how narcissists use tactics like bait and switch, scare tactics, roller coaster ride, and child's play. It's How to Survive a Divorce with a Narcissist, a 4-hour recorded video masterclass with Christine Hammond. For more information or to purchase today, just go to growwithchristine.com/narcissism. That's growwithchristine.com/narcissism. This masterclass will change your life. Again, that's growwithchristine.com/narcissism. This is Understanding Today's Narcissist. Brought to you in part by PsychCentral.com. And now here's your host, Christine Hammond.
So for today, I'd like to talk about the addiction of narcissism. Again, I'm sure this sounds like a strange topic, but the reason I'm going through this is because we seem to be in our society addicted to narcissists. Like, we already know that they need massive amounts of attention, and yet we give it to them over and over and over again. So we're going to talk about Tom today. And Tom was finally realized that he was married to a narcissist. And this wasn't his first rodeo with being married to a narcissist. In fact, he had done it again, and unfortunately, again. So this was marriage number 3 for Tom. The narcissism in his first wife was super obvious. She was obsessed with power and controlling his life and money, and wound up alienating him from their kids. His second wife was so preoccupied with their appearance that he lost track of the number of plastic surgeries she actually had. And wife number 3 was on a 6-month silent treatment streak with him. 6 months, not saying a word, including during holidays and birthdays. Sounds lovely, right? Well, if you're married to a narcissist, neither one of those scenarios are going to sound all that strange to you. In fact, they may sound all too familiar. But Tom was this successful entrepreneur. He started 4 companies, all of which continued to function well. And while he was really able to see the narcissism in his employees, and he even used it to his advantage, like putting them in sales positions or putting them in positions for which they seem to thrive, somehow he had missed this ability in his own personal life. Now, with divorce number 3 on the horizon, Tom decided it was time that he needed to figure out why he seemed to be addicted to narcissists in his personal life. So, looking back over his marriages, Tom began to see some similarities in how their relationship started, when the balance of power shifted, and even what caused him to stay. His ego was boosted each time he was attracted to a narcissist because all of them were a challenge to win over in the beginning. And having caught their eye, he felt like he was confident, like he was significant, and he felt physically attractive because they all were very attractive women. But there was a danger in being lured in by a narcissist. What looks good now can have devastating consequences later, as Tom found out 3 times later. So here's how this happens to even a smart, intelligent man who clearly knows how to handle situations, but in his personal life, he was lacking in this area. So, one of the first ways it happens is through this magnetic attraction. The problem with people being lured in by a narcissist is that it is more like indulging in crack cocaine than in taking a refreshing drink of water. The drug, like the narcissist, looks so appealing and promises to deliver this amazing high. And it does the first go around. Once it is lit up, it immediately exudes an exciting, euphoric, I can do anything feeling. Tom experienced this right from the beginning in all three of his relationships. But its short-lived fantasy was shocked back into reality around month 3 to 6 of the relationship when the narcissistic crack wears off and the rage starts to enter. Tom felt completely deflated, yet he desired the narcissistic drug even more intensely, which is why he had this magnetic attraction to it. He couldn't seem to help himself, even though people warned him. The second thing I want to talk about is control tactics. So each of Tim's wives employed a different type of control tactic, yet all of them utilized rage to shift that balance of power. Tim was drawn in by the idea that if he did just this one little thing, which was whatever the narcissist happened to demand, the fantasy of the narcissistic drug would return, and they would have that euphoric relationship again. I want more. I can't stand it is a struggle. That is exactly what the narcissist is trying to entice. But it's also this abuse tactic called push-pull. So the narcissist will intentionally draw in a person with their charm, and then they push them away by ignoring, and then they pull them back in with gifts, and then they reject when there is non-compliance. Tom's third wife was so talented at this that she had Tom accepting responsibility for her behavior. So I just want to say it's a controlling tactic, right? So we have the magnetic attraction at the very beginning that looks so good you can't help yourself. And then what keeps you locked in place is this controlling tactics. The third part is kind of hard to hear. The third part is meets a need. Of course, none of this is possible, the magnetic attraction or the control tactic, if the narcissist wasn't meeting some hidden need. So Tom's own brokenness stemming from his relationship with his mother, who also happened to be a narcissist, set the stage for him to marry the like kind. His desire to be validated by a person with nearly impossible standards fed his own ego and comforted his mother wound. His wives instinctively knew this and took advantage of his brokenness for their own feeding of their insatiable narcissistic ego. So the magnetic attraction and the control tactics do not work if there isn't a need that is being met. Here's the problem. Once I have those three things, this is number 4, the addiction starts to form. Before too long, the lure of the narcissist becomes just like an addiction. Just like crack cocaine, the drug takes control of the person just as the narcissist takes control of the other person. But the drug and the narcissist are fickle. The first high of engagement is never repeated despite the increased dosage. The deliverance of euphoria is promised, but it is never achieved. Yet the other person craves it more and more. It is a cycle that is so hard to break because it means giving up on ever feeling that same level of high again. It is so difficult to see that it actually took Tom 3 rounds of marriages before he finally woke up to what he was doing. And the last one is very difficult. Number 5 is hitting rock bottom. Once the narcissist's drug has gained complete control, Tom lost sight of all of who he once was. This loss of identity caused him to hit rock bottom. The choices at this point are simple and clear. He has to either remain this way or change something, anything. Remaining means allowing the attention-hungry addiction or the narcissist to win. Changing means rejecting the drug and the narcissist and its effects. But desiring the change is not enough. It requires a lot of hard work of self-evaluation, accepting responsibilities, setting new boundaries, asking for support, and lots of determination. So the addiction of narcissism, it actually takes 5 simple steps and it happens. And so it's that magnetic attraction, then it's cemented with some controlling tactics, but none of that would actually happen if there wasn't a need that was being met. Then the addiction forms, that obsessive pattern back and forth. And finally, the person hits rock bottom. In the end, Tom was finally ready to do the hard work of breaking free from the narcissistic drug addiction. He no longer wanted to engage in another relationship like his previous ones. He was willing to be in no relationship at all, just so he could stop this pattern. He went through many hours of therapy. He worked consistently on his woundedness. He was very determined, and he persevered, so that Tom finally became this better version of himself and wound up entering into a much healthier relationship years later. So I say that as encouragement because that did happen, and it can happen to you too. But you've got to see the addictive cycle of narcissism and how it has totally engulfed your life and taken over in an extraordinarily unhealthy way before you can finally get out of it and do something different.
Thanks for listening to Understanding Today's Narcissist with Christine Hammond. Brought to you in part by PsychCentral.com. For more information, visit growwithchristine.com.